story today. Roush Fenway driver and Nationwide Series contender, Daytona 500 champion as well, Trevor Bayne has been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. The 22-year-old has undergone extensive testing at the Mayo Clinic and has been cleared by doctors to continue racing. Trevor spoke to the media earlier today.
Wanted to let everybody know what's going on, and more than anything, I appreciate the support of my team and our sponsors here. They've been unbelievable. Obviously at first when I found out, I didn't know how it would be taken, and the more I talked to them, the more support I got. And obviously I feel great. Had no symptoms, and everything's going really well. But the biggest thing we want to figure out is how to keep winning races and championships, and just keep this thing going.
Trevor Bayne put on the map, you may remember, February of 2011 when he became the youngest driver in NASCAR history to win the Daytona 500. He's currently 6th in nationwide points with 1 win and 6 top 5s this season. He'll compete full-time in 2014. Team owner Jack Roush says they fully support Trevor and what he's going through now and continue to believe in his abilities to drive a race car. Nate Ryan has been following this story on USATodaySports.com. Nate, we've seen Trevor plagued with health issues in recent years. Some thought it could be Lyme's disease, similar symptoms to MS. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I think, Daniel, that he initially thought he had Lyme disease 2 years ago. I think the doctors thought that. But looking back now, that might have been symptoms of MS. It's very kind of nebulous, the diagnosis here, and how events transpired that led to him being definitely diagnosed with MS in the last few weeks. Whereas initially it was Lyme disease, it was maybe not. There was never any definitive, I think, word. So I think that was why Trevor Bayne kept going back to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, and that's why they eventually landed on this diagnosis of MS, because he was so persistent and vigilant about, hey, I want to know what was wrong 2 years ago.
MS is so hard to diagnose, and Trevor, not the first driver to compete with MS. Kelly Sutton did it in the Truck Series. What do you think his future is moving forward, Bob?
Well, I'm not as smart as Nate as far as the MS.
Well, he used nebulous. That's a pretty big word for the day.
There's several different levels of it, and I know he's going to do whatever he can to help fight that. But at the same time, Trevor Bayne, in talking to him the past couple of weeks, also is fighting his way to get back to the Cup Series on a full-time basis. He's going to be back with Roush Fenway Racing next year on the NASCAR Nationwide Series crown. He's won a couple of nationwide races, but he wants to be competing full-time in Cup. He wants to be going after that championship. When he won the Daytona 500, like you mentioned a couple of years ago, we thought Trevor Bayne, the next great star.
Yeah.
It just hasn't panned out, and for several different reasons. But they think another year of Nationwide will do him a lot of good before maybe making that jump to the Cup Series full-time.
Yeah, in the meantime, too, maybe a few Cup starts next year for the Wood brothers as well. You may remember Trevor Bayne, just 22 years old, got married a few months ago, keeping his spirits up, his outlook bright despite the MS diagnosis, Adam.